Hi guys, I want to share with you my latest junk journal that's work in process. This is on a very vintage theme. What we've got here is an absolute dream. We've got some wrapping paper, really nice and vintage. The company no longer are in existence. I was lucky enough to go to a jumble sale, and at the jumble sale they had some candles up for sale, and I could not resist getting this particular gift wrap, and it's a brown Muffs of Bradford, and just look at the lovely old images on there. The only thing was, it was wrapped round an old set of destroyed candles. So I've ironed this with my iron, and as you can see, you've still got a little bit of wax. And because of that, I thought, how am I going to deal with this? So what I've done is machine sewn the gift wrap onto this lovely vintage tea towel. It's got one of my iron-on printables there that I done, and I started to use watercolour to actually paint it. You can see all my random machine stitching. Also, sticking to a vintage theme, I've been using and cutting out images that I've got from my Motion Pictures magazine. I think it dates back to the 1920s or the 1930s. So all in all, I've got some lovely pieces of collaging going on here. So I wanted to collage the images onto tissue paper. And on this side you can see the tissue paper allows the original print to come back through. Got a little envelope, starting to use up some of my tags that I have, and so I've just enclosed bits and pieces that are sitting around in my stash. We've got old vintage music paper, we've got some tea bags going on, yet again another one of my little coffee stained tags that I've made. Using more vintage ephemera, this would have held iron-on transfers. I've done little pieces of collaging, more collaging, got a napkin up here, used some sewing themed, made the sewing pattern smaller and into an envelope. Yet again, more of the iron-on transfer here on a coffee stained tag. So it's really a matter of just playing around. Been gifted this tag, and I've done yet again more collaging to add a little bit more interest. It's just on a coffee stained page. So throughout we've got little pieces of this motion picture, images, little sewing, more little iron-on transfers. You're beginning to get the general gist, but I just love the fact that you've got all the stamps from the makers. It has transferred in onto the next page just slightly, so I've put this piece of very decorative stationery up here, so whoever gets this can do some journaling back and front. Here I was playing around with making some stencils using some stereo foam. I've just got these dragonflies that I printed out. I've got some old book pages and the old tracing paper that you get, the leaves that you get in picture book format. So I've just tucked a little tag behind here, one that I've made, as you say, in the past. So just getting out my little bits and pieces. I've got a Care of Clothes, just an old vintage book page. I just thought it would be nice to have a look at what has been said about tight boots, washing and renewing silk blouses, and to wash a navy blue or black serge skirt. You've got another selection of layers going on here. I've got a little sticker, I've got some ephemera, an old little ink and pen letter that's been gifted to me, another one of my little tags that I've made, a little stamp there, just all sorts of little pieces, just using up some of my stash. This is from a Vintage Ephemera's Garden sewing kit, one of her first ones, and I've just fussy cut round I've just got this little image here of Elaine Terry. We've got some vintage ephemera here. This is medical records that I was able to obtain from 1937. So I just love the fact of the information, the plain places, and you can do some journaling down the back side. I've just got an image here of an oldie English. It's actually William Shakespeare's little house, and I've just put this scrunge board here. I've just got this little section holding an envelope behind. On the other side, I've enclosed, done some magazine style gift bags. This particular one turned out to be way too small at the base, so I've turned it into a gift tag here, and yet again it's just a load of magazines sewn together on a piece of tissue. The other side, trying yet again to use bits and pieces in my collection, so I've just made little envelopes out of the tracing paper that you get for patterns. Got this lovely bird that I've been gifted, some old vintage line paper, and this is actually a tracing paper pocket. I photocopied a tea bag of all things. So it's just time to look at what I've got in my collection. Yet again, I've actually done some machine sewing and made a pocket. Just got a little piece of ephemera in there, a little bit of trim. On the other side, I've got this lovely images of moths, and it's just tucked underneath this button, and if we turn it out, you've got a full page there next to this lovely image of an actress. As I said, it's still work in process. More vintage ephemera here, dated from 1958. This is actually an invoice for coal for the British Railways, and I just love the fact that you've got it all stamped with a little stamp on there. More images. This is where the transfers or the iron-on transfers would be kept. We've actually got this large pocket that I've decorated, and we've got some nice thread there actually for doing some pearls. I decorated the Briggs smocking transfers on the back. Here we have an envelope with one of my little tags, which is just on a piece of tracing paper where I've just done a bit of pen and ink and a pencil drawing and sewn on a little bit of copy stained fabric. If you lift it up, it goes into an envelope. I've yet to put anything inside or decorate the bottom of this page. One of my vintage postcards, one of my French vintage postcards, I just thought he was a lovely gentleman, and yet again we've got this image from the motion pictures, and you can see that this has been all of the other side of the scrapping of the motion pictures. I've just literally collaged a page together, and this is the end of the journal for the moment, and you can just see the fabric and my sewing. So there you go guys, that's roughly what I'm trying to complete this week. I would like to think that there is going to be a little bit more work done to it, and I'll catch up with you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.